Hey dudes, Khraze here, back into Marvel's Avengers, and today we have some brand new updates on the whole loot situation that we had for the past day or so. Of course, as I've announced yesterday, there was actually indeed a loot update, though this one was server-sided, and we have a bunch of other fixes incoming and hopefully a bigger patch sometimes in the next few days, likely on Monday or the day after that. So let's get started. As always, if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up on it would be super appreciated, and let's begin with the most recent announcement from a few hours ago. So one of the developers came over on Reddit and he gave an explanation to why the loot was accidentally nerfed. So according to the post, an error in the loot table for faction missions caused them to award high quality patterns consistently, which was not intended. In fixing this error, he explains the loot tables for these missions were adjusted accidentally to a lower power level than originally intended. To correct this, we are modifying the loot tables for these missions so that they award gear up to 130 power level rather than just 120, and there's also a compensation. Now these missions will also award upgrade modules for a limited amount of time, though they haven't mentioned how long. They also noted that the threat sectors and drop zones will continue to award gear only up to 120 as they have since launched, though I'm not really sure what to say about that because I'm pretty sure that I did get 130s for the drop zones. I still have videos on that, but I'm gonna talk about that in just a little bit. In the meantime, I went ahead, I checked out to see what these rewards are, and indeed you no longer get 120, you get 130 power level items. You also don't get legendary guarantees anymore. You still get like the post nerf epics and whatnot. Of course, all of those patterns have been removed still, but you do get some upgrade modules on top, and it's nice to have the additional source of upgrade modules, but it's not going to be the most efficient route. I mean, you take about 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes to complete some of these missions, and you only get about 1, 2, maybe 3. Meanwhile, you can go in a vault mission and just open those chests left and right. It takes you about 7 minutes to open about 5 chests or more, and you get 3 for each one of them. So that is by far way better than all of these upgrade modules that they are rewarding at the end of that. And again, it's not worth it to do it because they don't provide those legendary guarantees anymore. Another really good point that somebody raised over on Reddit was, well, if drop zones and threat sectors only drop 120 gear, then what is even the point in doing them in the first place? And the answer from the developer was, well, there is content that is higher challenge that drops higher quality gear, so that the goal is to work your way up. Like, you can still do the drop zones and the threat sectors for that and the dailies, but it would feel rather stale if the best loot dropped in the same spot. And I kinda see their point of view. They are trying, as I've said in yesterday's video, to make us go into that end game, into those hives, and make that the primary thing that you will want to do to get the best gear possible. But as it stands, that is bugged, and in the process of doing all of this, they brought us to the unintended consequence, the opposite of what they're trying to do, and in turn they made the game actually feel more stale. Because let me say this, you basically had before the nerf about a dozen options to pick legendaries from. You had a whole bunch of iconic missions, a whole bunch of faction missions. Any of them worked really well. You could just pick your flavor and go in with that, and they would feel rewarding. Most of the stuff that you would do in the end game would feel rewarding, and they would provide some form of legendary that you would end up using. But now you only have a couple of options, which are kind of the hives, though again exotics don't drop because they're bugged, and most important, you have the vault run, and I'm pretty sure that that's not the intended consequence of having people run boring chest runs every day of the week to get the best items out there, because that's what the game is now all about. Hopefully it gets fixed by Monday, but let me know what is your opinion on this down below. In the previous video, I saw that a number of you guys had pretty mixed opinions. Like, some of you are okay with that, some of you are outraged. I'm definitely in the camp that thinks that this was a wrong approach in nerfing before fixing things. They should have fixed things first and then nerfed and adjusted the other things. That's just my opinion, but you are free to disagree. Now, speaking of hives, we also have an update on that too. So the reason you're not getting exotics is because there is a bug. There's actually a bug that correlates with the fact that people are getting level 1 greens as a reward from heroic hives. So according to the same developer, exotics aren't a guaranteed drop, but nonetheless there is a chance for them to drop, though there is a bug with elite hives not granting these rewards appropriately. So they are investigating this, and hopefully this will be addressed by 1.30. And yeah, this also goes in with the other change. It seems that we have a number of other confirmations from other news outlets, like Games Radar confirmed with Crystal Dynamics that they have investigating the issue regarding the loot in the elite hives and found that there was an item incorrectly dropping, which would show as a level 1 green. So in theory this should have been fixed on a server side as well without needing a patch, but it remains to be seen. Let me know down below if you have completed any hives this morning and if you encountered this bug anymore. Otherwise it should be available in 1.30. Now, another thing that I want to talk in this video is the fact that some people would lose units, I myself included, because I just lost about 35,000 units and I'm back to like 500. I had to refarm them again. I have like 2,000 now, so it's pretty much of a bummer, but it seems that they are in the process of fixing this. So I got this from the support yesterday. We are also in the process of retroactively granting lost credits, although this process may take an undetermined amount of time to complete. So please check for an update later today for the progression issue to be resolved, and I think that update they are referring to was that server side fix that they have applied a few hours ago. So if you are also in that position, know this: if you exceed 32,000 credits for some reason, then is when the bug starts appearing. What you can do is actually go back into the game, and in the options menu you will have a backup save option over there that you can use to actually revert back to a previous save. Do know this about these backup saves: the game basically does a backup about every hour, so at most, if you wait for too long, you're gonna have all of the saves overwritten with the unit's bug. So what you could do in this case is to use an USB drive, make a hard copy of your save files when it's not problematic with the units being gone and whatnot, and then revert back to it in case it does happen to you. At some point, almost anything can trigger it. Going into the war table, starting a mission, ending a mission, even turning off the game can trigger that bug. So if you're in that situation, you can do this and get the hard copy back. But otherwise, if you're in the same situation as I am, where all of your backup saves have the bug, then you have to wait for that update and get reimbursed once that gets added. Nonetheless, this is it with the latest news and incoming fixes. Of course, expect these probably next week by Monday or Tuesday. At the very least, that's what I'm hoping for. And in the meantime, if you still encounter different kinds of problems, don't forget to go in and make a support ticket. I've done plenty of these. It seems that they are pretty fast to respond on that, and you can also go in and poke them on Twitter, since they also seem to be very active over there too. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.